Thank you. This is the Kelly Walsh High School Symphonic Band. The first piece that we play is a very classic band piece that has absolutely nothing to do with the holidays, Christmas, or winter. But I really like it, and it's important that they play it, so we play it. So it's called Flourish for Wind Band. It's written by Ray Vaughan Williams. And again, he's probably one of the greatest band composers in history. And so anytime we can sneak one of his in on the concert, we will do so. For our second piece today, we're going to play a very well-loved holiday classic that most people recognize, and when I often spin through the office, people say, are you guys going to play Carol of the Bells at the concert? And the answer is yes, we're going to play Carol of the Bells. We're going to play it right now. This is Carol of the Bells. Before we move on to our next song, we're going to recognize some students. This year we had quite a few kids that were recognized as being in the all-district band. Not too dissimilar from being all-conference in a sport, these kids are selected to represent their school. Only difference being when they do that, then they have to go someplace and participate in this activity, which is the district band clinic, where we went to Douglas for 2 days and got to play some fine music with some friends from around this region. So I'm going to name these kids off. If you could hold your applause to the end, we'll have them stand and remain standing until everyone's got their applause, and then we'll have a seat. On clarinet this year we had Caitlin Hodgson, we have Veronica Garcia, Madison Coventry, and Allie Minix. On flute we had Leah Kopp, Leslie Pogin, Rochelle Dietz. On alto sax we had Samantha Gossman. On tenor sax, Michaela Wheeler. On baritone saxophone, Torin Perret. On bassoon, Isaac Triplett. On bass clarinet, Merrick Van Nest. On trumpet, we had Jared Carlson, Taylor Stone, Cassie Dutro. On trombone, we had Michaela Dukart and Janelle Ordaway. On euphonium, we had Tori Strong. On tuba, we had Michael Stolte. And all the way in the back on percussion, we had Chase Hull, we had Jevin Greenwood, and we had Samuel Scott. If we could give them all a big round of applause. Okay, so this next song, it comes with a story. I was told not to tell any stories, but I'm gonna tell one anyway. So this is Themes from the Nutcracker. And the last time that I conducted this song, I didn't teach it in school, it was a different band. And I never got to finish the song. So the story, as the story goes, is we're gonna find out when we move into our new building. The new building is as perfect as they would like to be. They don't always work perfectly. And in this place, the holiday concert was the first, like this one is the first band concert we had in the new auditorium. And so as we started to conduct, this was the second to last piece, I think, of the concert. And I heard this noise behind me, this ruffling, and I thought it was kids. And I thought I knew which kids it was, so I was going to turn and say something snappy to them to get them to stop. In the middle of a piece, which is very rare, as you probably know, right, for a conductor to turn around on stage and say, stop it. So as I turned around, I noticed that people were fleeing. I wasn't sure why. And as it turns out, they didn't quite have a handle on the HVAC system yet, and so they tried to keep the temperature nice by turning off the HVAC system, which had an emergency trip, which opened up the air handlers on the roof, which let in, it was like 5 below, I think, that day of the concert. So let in all this cold air, which then froze all the emergency water pipes for the fire system, which then snapped and started, it was more like rain on the audience. And so we stopped, and we evacuated the building, and long story short, we never finished the song. And then so the ironic part is today, and some people know this, that there's gaps and cracks, especially as we've remodeled and things, and if from time to time it snows. I think they said it snowed last year during the concert, there's a little crack up there and the snow falls. So I started this song today, and I went like this, and the flute started laughing, and I felt the drip drip, and so as the snow was melting on the roof, it was starting to drip, and I thought, again. So I really hope that we can get to the next couple minutes through the song, because we got to get to the end. So this is Themes from a Nutcracker. I hope you stay dry. So I'm not gonna lie, I felt a little drip in the middle. But without hair, it's hard to say what sweat rolling off my brow and what's coming from the ceiling, so I think we're safe. So before we play our last number, we're gonna recognize some students. These students were selected to the All-State Band. So one level higher than the All-District Band with a little bit more work. You have to audition, a blind audition, a one-shot deal to make this group. Kelly Walsh Band had 13 students selected to the All-State Band. It's the most we've had in some time, which is an indication of their hard work and dedication. We're going to recognize these kids now. Again, we're going to hold our applause at the end, but if you could stand and remain standing. So in the All-State Band this year, we have on piccolo in the orchestra, Leah Kopp. On flute in the band, we have Leslie Pojan and Michelle Dietz. On clarinet in the band, we have Kaylin Hodgson, also Veronica Garcia on clarinet, and also on clarinet, Madison Coventry. On trumpet in the band, we have Jared Carlson. On trumpet, we also have Cassie Dutro. And also on trumpet, we have Stephen Turman. On bass clarinet, we have Merrick Van Nest. On trombone, we have Michaela Ducart. On Barry sax, we have Torin Perrette. And we also on Barry sax have Cooper Stone. Before we give them their applause, I'm going to tell you a couple of things. First off, we have some kids that have made it multiple times. I know for Veronica Garcia, this is her second year. For Kaylin Hodgson, it's her second year. For Leah Kopp, it's her third year. For Leslie Pojan, it's her second year. For Rochelle Dietz, it's her second year. For Torin, it's his second year. Also notable, Mr. Stephen Turman in the back has made it as a freshman. It's a very rare feat on trumpet, so that's very special. And also, it's interesting to note, they only take 3 Barry saxes in the whole state of Wyoming, and you can see we have 2 of them that reside in our band. We're hoping to bat 1,000 on that one next year and get all 3. It's very selfish of us, but we want it anyway. So, big round of applause for these 13 students. And also, we had a huge number of students audition this year, and they all did so great. I mean, they were so dedicated to their craft and worked so very hard. So, sort of proud of all the kids that auditioned, that made it, that didn't make it. The band is having a fantastic year. We have another student we need to recognize. If I could have Torin Perrette stand up. So, earlier this year, we had Torin was selected to a very, very select ensemble, and this was the all-national band. So each year, they take auditions from every state, and they select a band, an orchestra, and a choir. Torin made it on Barry sax. He was the only band student in Wyoming to make the ensemble. We got to travel out to Nashville for a few days, and he got to play with a fantastic band at the Grand Ole Opry stage. I got to spend a couple days down there. We also had a choir student from here, Alyssa Burton. We also had a violinist, and that was Anna Merchant. Very proud of Kelly Walsh for having these kids make this ensemble. In comparison, Kelly Walsh High School had 3 kids. The state of Colorado only had 4 in the whole state. There was several states in this region that had nobody make the band, and we had a student make it. So again, for Kelly Walsh, Wyoming had 10 altogether. So music education very strong in the state. And so for Torin to make the all-national band, huge congratulations. Let's give him a thunder. If he has way, you keep applauding, but I think we're good. So for our final number, we're going to play what's probably the most recognizable band Christmas song. This is Sleigh Ride. As much as people love hearing it, it is difficult for band directors and high school kids to play. We do play it often, over and over again, not only in class but year to year. And but it is probably, when I hear it, I think instantly Christmas Vacation. So I'm really excited about that. And I think with no further ado, this is our last one. We thank you for coming out tonight. You got fantastic students. We're in kids. I'm just very lucky and very blessed. Enjoy Sleigh Ride and have a great rest of your evening.